Women are taking the lead in the property market. The latest figures that have come out have shown that for first-time female buyers, they have overtaken their male counterparts. It's a significant change from 2012. Let's go back 11 years now, when more than half of the buyers were male. Now, that figure has done a complete 180, of course. Let's find out why that is. Head of sales at Ooba Home Loans, Careen Mckinon, making time for me this morning. Careen, hello. Good to have you on ENCA. Why the shift? Obviously, we'll talk about why it's good news in a moment, but why the shift? What are the numbers showing you?
Hi, Gareth. Thank you for having us on the show. So the numbers are showing us that there's been a 12% increase in buyers who are either single or buying on their own, female buyers, while the male counterparts have made up the balance. Looking at the first-time home buying demand curve, that started shifting in favor of female home buyers way back in 2018. So the trend has been on the go, certainly for the last couple of years.
Any idea, any insights? You are in the industry. I'm sure if there's not specifically stats behind it, just your thoughts then, Careen, on why that's happened?
So the thoughts are women are obviously prioritizing home ownership, making long-term savvy investment decisions. And whether they're looking to buy an investment property or whether they're looking to purchase a family home, they're also looking to create generational wealth for the future. So purchasing a home or property has definitely become a key prioritization and focus for women in the property market.
When you take a look at the market segmentation, we don't necessarily have to go into the value of the properties, but are we talking mid-sized properties? Are we talking large three-story or three-bedroom, four-bedroom freestanding homes? What are the kind of properties that's generally being bought by women at the moment?
So surprisingly, 60% of the properties that we are seeing being purchased by the female home buyers in the first-time home buyer space are actually freestanding properties. We do also have some stats on our repeat buyers, and our repeat buyers, women are looking to invest in an investment portfolio. That tracks at about 65% of properties being purchased, which are freestanding as opposed to sectional title. We do, however, expect this trend to evolve over time, and we're seeing a shift towards more sectional title property purchases by first-time female home buyers. And this is largely due to affordability factors and the need for increased safety and security. Living in a complex gives you a more secure estate or living type of feel as opposed to a freestanding house.
And when you now look at I suppose you could call it the trend in this case, is this something that's going to change soon? Is this a bit of a blip on the radar? Obviously, it's the hope that we're seeing more women getting into property, especially as independent young women looking at investments. Is this a bubble that's going to burst in your experience?
We think that this trend will continue into the future, where women are prioritizing buying property as opposed to buying other assets. So we definitely do expect this trend to evolve over time.
It's very interesting considering the number of first-time home buyers as well, Careen. When you look at the interest rates and just the cost of living at the moment, we can move slightly away from the numbers just to get your general expertise on this. Are you seeing as Ooba Home Loans, yes, there's an increase in women buying properties, but are the numbers just generally across the board, are a number of houses being bought coming down because of the cost of living?
So we did see a slowing trend in the market, and that was largely due to the interest rate increases that we saw over the last 4 quarters from 2022. But we have certainly seen activity increase, and that has actually been now in August, surprisingly Women's Month. We've definitely seen a shift upwards again in terms of the number of deals that we're seeing in the market, the activity in the market. And I think that's largely due to the fact that there's a sentiment in the market where people think that the interest rate cycle has peaked. There is certainly no expectation of any further interest rate hikes for the rest of this year, with hopefully an expected starting to decrease and cuts in rates coming through in the next first quarter of 2024. So that's driving some of the positive sentiment in the market. So definitely application volumes are up at the moment compared to what we've seen over the last 3 months.
Any insight as to why, because obviously it's an increase in women buyers, is that in direct correlation to a drop in male buyers, or is it just because the women have taken over?
Definitely a drop in the number of male buyers that we're seeing. So certainly in the first-time home buying space, women accounted for 47% of the applications in that particular market segment way back in 2012. Now they account for 53.1% of the first-time home buyers. So definitely a shift in terms of the number of people that are purchasing. And certainly the other thing that we've seen is the age of first-time home buyers. Whereas men were purchasing at an age of about 34, that's now shifted upwards by about 3 years, becoming a first-time home buyer, whereas women, it's shifted by 1 year. So we've also seen women potentially buying sooner than the men.
Let's get some free home loan advice while I've got you with me. Why not? So maybe someone watching now didn't know that there are more women buyers in the market. First-time buyers, I suppose, is more important as well. Is now a good time to get a home loan? I know you want to tell me yes, but is now a good time? Someone who's never done this before may be watching going, Careen, should I do it now? Should I wait for that bubble of the interest rates to burst? When's a good time to start getting into it?
So anytime's a good time to get into the property market. And we've seen the South African property market definitely yield some great returns over many years. So property is a good investment. From an affordability factor, believing that the interest rates are now at the peak of the cycle, if you're calculating your affordability now and you're comfortable to purchase the property, things are going to improve in terms of rates coming down. So now would definitely be a good time to look at your affordability, get in touch with one of our Ooba Home Loans consultants to understand what your purchasing power is. But now would be a good time, because if rates are going up, you never know where that's going to land, but certainly at the moment we're expecting that trend to start coming downwards next year. So where the rates are above 11 at the moment, potentially there should be a few drops next year, which helps the affordability factor and certainly helps the disposable income. So buying at the peak of the cycle is generally a good indication of your affordability.
And is right now, what do the estate agents always say? It's a buyer's market or a seller's market? I can never understand the difference. So which one are we in at the moment? Would you care to share?
So at the moment, we're in a buyer's market, and that is due to the demand and supply. So when there's a shortage of buyers, buyers can negotiate a bit harder on the seller's price. So we're certainly in a buyer's market at the moment. Fewer buyers, but we have seen that turn in the last month.
Good. Well, there we go. I never say I don't get you practical advice on the show. Careen Mckinon, Head of Sales for Ooba Home Loans, making time for us this morning. Careen, thank you very much indeed. So it's good news, of course, to see. I was fascinated, especially by the first-time homeowners that overtake being done by the woman at the moment as well. It doesn't have to be a massive house. It can just be getting into the property market. 20 years from now, version of you is going to thank yourself if you can just get into the property market a little bit earlier, even if it's something small. It doesn't have to be the massive house that you've always dreamed of. Yes, that can be the goal, but you need to start a little bit smaller, because maybe one day that might be money in the bank for mahala.